What's up, everybody? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk about marketing and questions of how to grow your business, whether it's Christmas sites, pressure washing, or whatever service business you have, because really it all comes down together. And one of how to grow a business is it comes down to marketing and sales. You can't do sales if you don't get your phone to ring in marketing. And so that's what we are going to do. If you have questions for me on the side of the marketing, then definitely go up and ask these questions. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd love to hear your comments. And so with that, that is what we are going to be talking about tonight, is how to get more leads. And so with how to get more leads, my book obviously has to be The $100 Million Offer by Alex Hormozi. This is a great book. It works really good talking about how to get leads, how to get to $100 million worth of leads. And so I really like Alex Hormozi's stuff. And so it is definitely something that as we are trying to grow these businesses, it is very important that we understand how do we get leads. And so with that, that's what I am going to hit on. I've got some questions myself. If you have questions about marketing, maybe it's about your Google My Business, it's Facebook, whatever it is, put it in the comments so we can answer your questions, so that way we get your questions answered. I know one of the questions I'm going to answer, because I've been getting it a lot, is what do I do when I get my Google account suspended? When my Google business profile gets suspended, what do I need to do? What steps do I need to do? And so those are things that we will hit on today for you, so that way if that happens to you, you will understand what you need to do. So one of the things that I've been doing today is I've been driving around the world. Mr. Rick Nussi come down. We're getting ready to build a rig for him, and so we had to go pick up the parts. And so we was going to have everything shipped here, but we decided to make a road trip. So we actually drove up to Indianapolis. We stopped at Midwest and got their mixer valves and all the proportioner valve, or the mixer valves, and the remotes and all of that stuff. And then we drove down to Southside Equipment down in Louisville, Kentucky, and we picked up the 8-gallon-a-minute pressure washer and a 100-gallon bleach tank. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't get it all in one place, is because I do like Midwest's valves. For that, they didn't have a 100-gallon bleach tank, so that's why we went down there to get the bleach tank for the 100-gallon bleach tank, and an 8-gallon-a-minute pressure washer, and all kinds of awesome stuff is what we ended up getting for this rig build that we are doing. And in this, we had some really good conversations. It was myself, DJ, and Rick as we drove around for the 6 hours, as it takes 2 hours to get up to Indianapolis, and 2 hours down to Louisville, and 2 hours back home. So we did a big triangle, and so that is what we was able to do. And in that conversation, Rick talks about how he used to be cheap, right? And so before he learned from me, he was always cheap. And so he was one that he would bid cheap. And so he was under the thing of, if I get all of these jobs cheap, I'll make money. And yes, he made money, but it is not near as much as what he could have made and what he does make. And so one of the first things he did is he raised his prices, and then he started learning how to get leads. His number one lead, even last year, is about 70% from yard signs. Yes, just old yard signs. He puts out about 200 to 300 a month, and that is how he generated almost $500,000 worth of business doing pressure washing and gutter cleaning. Those are his main services. And so with that, that is one way of marketing, right? And so it is definitely something that as we start looking at and as we start growing our business, it is things that we can do to help us grow our business. Now, yard signs can only get us so far, and if we want to go on beyond that in our business, we got to start looking at other measures of business and how we can get business. And so that's what I want to hit on tonight, are some other ways that we can get business in marketing. And that's why I asked you, if you have questions, definitely put those questions in here, and that way we can see what you got going on. So we got Mr. Matt on here. Hey, what's up? Mr. Matt Maycroft. If I can talk, Safe Shine GMB just got suspended. And I've been seeing this a lot here recently, and I don't know what is going on. I don't know if there was an update or something, but I will talk about the main reasons why I know that GMBs get suspended. And so that is one of the first things I'll hit on. And so I will pull up I can pull up a GMB and kind of walk through some of the things that are kind of red flags for people that they do that will get them suspended. I have a seal coating business. It's seasonal. Do you guys work all year round? Pressure washing does not. Christmas lights does not either. I shouldn't say that. Pressure washing can if you live in the South. But if you live in about Georgia and up, maybe even further north of Georgia, then you probably are not going to be working, right? And so, or you're going to get pretty slow in the wintertime. And so up here in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, you're done pretty much the end of October till it's already March 1st. We still ain't back to work, because the grass ain't growing yet. So usually about March to April is when you're done. So you got to make all of your money within the 6 to 8 months of the year if you're only going to do pressure washing. If you're only going to focus on pressure washing, that is when you're going to do it. Now, we also do Christmas lights, right? And so Christmas lights will get us into November and December, and then we take them down in January. And Christmas lights is super, super, super profitable. It's one of the most probably profitable things that you're going to get into. It is one of the most fun businesses you're going to get into. And so I love Christmas lights. If you're not in Christmas lights, I highly recommend you to be in Christmas lights, because Christmas lights is definitely a way that you can make money in there. Jason, I have a HOA proposal at $47 a foot for 3 separate locations. We need an electrician to install outlets. Do I include that proposal or separate charge to? I would probably go ahead and find an electrician and sub it out to them and be like, hey, if I get this bid, you are going to install this outlet for me. How much is that going to cost? Because our goal is, how can we make it easy for the customer? Now, you can do it and say, hey, you need to have an outlet right here, and so you will need to get your electrician to do it. So I would probably put it both ways of, hey, if you can't find an electrician, I've already got an electrician, and I've already got it quoted, and so this is what it is. And then if you do it yourself, obviously I'm probably going to upcharge him some, so that way I make some money off of that too. So I would do it both ways of what I would do for your side of that. We got, let's see, who else we got in here? Jamie, the ghetto in the building, $100,000. Here we come. 200 to 300 signs a month is hard work. Talk about dedication. It is hard work. Business is hard work. I never said things were easy. Business is hard work. It is one of the things that you have to do. Now, is there ways around it? Sure, there is. You can pay somebody else to go put out the yard signs, right? Because if we want to grow a business, you can't do everything. And so these are things that we can pay somebody that might want to go do a little part-time job. I fought for 6 months to get my GMB moved. Yeah, that's really hard to get them moved sometimes. How do I get more commercial jobs? What's up, Jason? Southern Exterior Cleaning. Awesome, trying to make it easy for them as possible, because I'm sure my competition will have them find an electrician, whereas I simply simplify it for them and source myself. Less work for them. Absolutely. So one of the first, and if you guys got marketing questions, definitely put them in the comments. definitely put those in the comments so that way I can answer your all's questions. But one of the first things is I've been seeing a lot of people get their GMB or their Google business profile get suspended. And so some of the things that will cause you to get suspended is probably the first thing is that you have changed the name of the business to something that is not the name of the business. So let's just say that you see Jason talk about that you need to name your Google My Business profile something with Christmas lights in it or something with pressure washing in it, because we know that if we do, you're more likely to show up than if you don't. So what you will do is you will go in there and you will change your name and put Christmas lights or pressure washing in the name of your business, and it is not the name of your business because you decided to name your business Bob's LLC, and now you wonder why you can't get it done. Or I will pick on some other ones of Southern Exterior Cleaning, and we realize that people don't search exterior cleaning, and so we don't come up sometimes, right? And I'm not saying that this will work all the time, because there is sometimes, if you put enough work into your brand, you can eventually get it to come up, but it's going to be tough and difficult. So if you are going to name your business with pressure washing or Christmas lights or what other service that you want to rank for, you need to make sure that it is in your business name. Now, in the old days, the part about after you get suspended, what you have to do. But let's talk about some other things that will get you suspended. One of the things that can get you suspended is if you are in a residential house and you are saying that customers come to you and you're not showing up as a service-based business. And that can get you suspended. People can go flag you and tell you, and Google will go check it, and it can get you suspended. And so these are things that crappy SEO companies will do, where they will go and find businesses that either their name is changed or they're in a residential house, and there's a way that you can send a form in to complain about these people that say that this is not what it is. And so if you, and there is SEO companies out there that will do this. I know it for a fact because I've seen it happen more than once. And so I've seen people talk about doing it. And so this is things that you got to be careful with of how that works. Because I will tell you, if you hire a company that does that, karma will come back and bite you in the butt. Yes, you are not following Google rules, but when you start doing that, you got to be careful. So if you change your name or change your address, can throw a flag and suspend your business. So the number 2 or 3 in your phone number is the other thing that will flag it, and it will change your name of the business and will put you in suspension. And when you get in trouble and you go to Google jail, then it's hard to get out of Google jail sometimes. So what do we need to do to get out of Google jail? One of the things is you may have to do a video verification. If you have to do a video verification, you have 90 seconds to show the address of the building, show the name of the road, show you unlocking the door, showing some paperwork. So if you have your business LLC, you need to show that. If you have insurance, you need to show that. So you need to show all the documents that you are a legit business, that you are not some other name of business and you're trying to hijack the system, right? You're trying to do black SEO. You have gray, or you got white SEO and you got black SEO. When you go changing your name to get it showing up, that's called black hat SEO. Now, if the name of your business is that, then it's a better chance that it is going to show up, because we know when we search that stuff comes up when it does come up. So with that, those are some things that what we have to do. It's not easy. It's not fun. It's stupid, but it is what it is. And so what I tell people is don't change things. Some other things can get you suspended. If you put your logo or phone number in photos and you kind of do like a big logo or a big phone number on your photos, that can get you suspended. Now, I didn't say that you can't park your truck in front of the house that has your logo on it. But what I am saying is if you put you put a big logo on there, you put a big phone number on there, those are things that can get you suspended also. So just remember that there's other things that can get you suspended than just what you think sometimes. So just don't do black hat SEO, right? If you need to name your business something with pressure washing, or if you want to name your business with something with Christmas lights, then you need to name a business with those things in there, right? And so that is what you will need to do to make that happen. Let's see. $75 return for every sign put out. So Tyler found out last year that he put out about 600 signs, and with his 600 signs, it averaged of $75 per yard sign that he put out. And so this is important because a lot of people think that, oh my God, this is $3. My competitor's picking them up, the county's picking them up, the city's picking them up, and they worry about the $3 or $4 for yard signs versus figuring out that every time I put a yard sign out, I make $75. Now, I'm not no rocket science. At that point, I want to be able to see how I can put out 200 signs a month or 250 signs a month. Because if I can put out 100 signs at $75, right? That's $7,500. And if I can do that to 200 signs, that's $15,000. So let that sink in a little bit, right? My 100 signs a month isn't enough. What did you put? My 200 to 300 yard signs is hard work. It is hard when you think about it as hard work. But when you think about it as $15,000, that's a whole nother ballgame of why we put out yard signs. And here's the thing about the yard signs. Yes, they are hard work to go put out. But when you figure out that every yard sign that you put out is $75, then that makes a whole lot better when we're putting them bad boys out. So just remember that. Let's see. The main thing about marketing channel is consistency, 100%. A 100, 200, 300 yard sign doesn't matter so much as making sure that you put them out every month, whether it's a post, whether whatever it might be. All right, so let's talk about some other avenues of marketing and questions. So if you are just starting out, how do I get my first customers, right? How do I get my first Christmas light customer? How do I get my first pressure washing customer? Well, honestly, you can do a couple things. One, yes, you can do networking. If you have a good network, then yes, this will probably work. But let's be honest. I'm going to pick on somebody here. Where's my Jamie at? If you're a Jamie and you're coming out of the ghetto, right? Where's my the ghetto? Then your network probably ain't gonna be buying neither pressure washing or Christmas lights. So that's not something that is feasible for everybody. So this is one of the reasons why I push yard signs so much, is because you can go put out 200 yard signs. You can go put out 100 yard signs. That's $350, $400. You can go put out $400 worth of yard signs, and I will guarantee you just about 98% that you're going to make either your money back or 10x your money pretty quickly off of yard signs. So that is one of the things that I would do. The other thing I would do is I would do Facebook groups, because Facebook groups is something. But whatever you do, pick it and be awesome at it. If you're going to do Facebook groups, then do Facebook groups. How do you do Facebook groups? You do not go in Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm a pressure washer, I'm a pressure washer. Hey, I'm a Christmas light installer, I'm a Christmas light installer. Because when you do that, they don't care what you do. You have to go in there and build relationships with people. When people start asking other questions, you start answering those questions. You start talking about how you can help them find the plumber, how you can find the electrician, and how you can help them. You do not go in there talking about how you are a pressure washer and you can pressure wash houses. Because if you do, they're not probably going to give two rats about what you're saying or what you do, right? And you're probably going to get banned pretty quickly right away. So when you are doing this, you need to make sure that you are getting your name out there one way or another. You know, I know some people will be like, go do a free job. And here's the thing. When I see people do a free job, this is what they do. They go find some piece of crap house that is really dirty, nasty, and they go clean it. Well, that dirty, nasty house is in the other street with dirty, nasty houses that they probably don't give two rats if their houses are dirty, nasty. So that's not a good thing to do. But if you are going to give one away, these are some things that I would tell you that I would go out and do. And one of them is this. We were talking about Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups. The mom groups on Facebook groups are your money groups. Those are the groups that you are going to make the most money out of, is mom groups. So what you do is you go up and you find who the admin is. And this mom group needs to have about 5,000 to 10,000 people in this group, and it needs to be very active. And you go find Miss Smith that owns that group, and you reach out to her and you say, hey, I'm a pressure washer. Can I give one away? Can I give it to you, or can I give it to someone in your group? If I give it to you, would you post about it 2 or 3 times for me in this group? And I will tell you, it will blow up on you. You will get jobs. So if you're going to do one for free, that's where you're going to do the free one at. You are not going to do the free one for the one that is a trailer so that you can go get crappy pictures of a crappy trailer that's not going to be your customer. Because I see before and after pictures all the time of crappy pictures of, they make great before and after pictures, but generally speaking, those are not your customers, right? Because those people don't want to pay otherwise that house wouldn't be dirty. And that's why I like the good old clean houses that you go clean, and those are the houses that you want. So that is definitely something that I would tell you. Miss Smith, what you put, Miss Smith is my customer. Don't tell people to go contacting Miss Smith. So that is definitely something that you have to think about when we're doing that. So what is another question? If you have any questions, like I said, I've got some questions here that I kind of pulled up here. But here's a good question that will help you a lot. How important is getting reviews, right? Because if you get reviews on Google or you get reviews wherever, it's going to help your Google, and it is definitely going to help your business. Because it is something like 70% of people will go check out your reviews to see how your reviews are. If you've only got 1 or 2 reviews, you're probably not doing very good. And if you have a person that is looking for Google and you show up in the maps and you have 2 reviews and your competitors have 50 reviews, 100 reviews, 500 reviews, who do you think they're going to call? The guy with 2 reviews or 500 reviews? I will promise you they are going to call the 500 reviews, because that's who they know, who they got, that they are trusted, that they have good reviews. So yes, reviews are very good. I highly recommend reviews. I show you the little cards here that you can help get reviews. These cards can help you get your reviews. If you text at the end of the job 2 or 3 times, it is going to help you get reviews. If you send emails out, it will help you get reviews. If you only ask at the end of the job, hey, Miss Jones, will you please give me a review, and you don't help them and do that, the likelihood of you getting that review is about 1%, maybe less than that. And so that is why it is important that we make it easy. We're like, hey, Miss Jones, bring me your phone and we will do this review so we can help to make sure that you can get in there. Because what happens when they hit on your QR code and it goes to their Gmail and it says, you're signed out? Well, the likelihood of you getting a review at that point is going to be very, very, very slim. But at that point, we're not going to give up. We're going to be MacGyver. We're going to be smart. And we're going to say, hey, Miss Jones, will you give me a video review? Because video reviews can be worth a lot more than just written reviews. Because a video review, we can put it on our social media. We can put it in Google Business Profile. We can put it in a lot of different places to be able to get that Google video reviews. Now, here is another question. If I want to get reviews or if I want to get leads, what about paying for Facebook, Google, whatever else is out there for paying for leads? And I will say there's really 2 ways of getting customer. 1 is time, and 2 is paying for ads. And so what I mean by that is if you're not willing to put in the time on Facebook and LinkedIn and some of these and Google My Business or Google Business Profile and that, then you're probably going to have to pay for ads. And Facebook ads they're okay. They're decent for Christmas lights. For pressure washing, For Google ads, Google guarantee. Somebody the other day I was talking to, they like, man, the Google guarantee was $40 for that lead. I'm like, okay, how much was the job? $600. I'm like, okay, what are you complaining about? It's less than 10%. Shut up. Go on, right? What's the lifetime value of that customer? What's the review worth once you get from that customer? What's the referral worth once you get that customer? $40? Here, how many $40 can I give you at that point? I'll take as many as I can get, right? And so that's how you got to think about marketing. A lot of people think about marketing as you're just spending money and you're blowing money. And sometimes you might be. But when you find the right marketing channel that you do the testing and see what works and what doesn't, then that will help you out a lot in the end. Let's see. Had 200 reviews on Thumbtack, but they banned me after my nasty phone calls complaining about their ridiculous $100 leads. And no one gets back to you. Wow, that stinks. For sure. Starting going to the gym, getting my ducks in order to win and buy back time so I can spend time with my family first. Awesome. What's an example of a mom's group? What's an example of a mom's group? I mean, it's a mom's group is what is an example of it. Let's see. I'll show you here what a mom group is. I got a bunch of other stuff here. Let me shut all these others down. So what is a mom group, right? That is the question. What's a mom group? So a mom group is a group of moms. This is what a mom group is. So when you go to your Facebook and you type in moms group Northern Kentucky, so we type in moms group Northern Kentucky, search, and what we will find is Northern Kentucky Moms and Friends. It has 17,000 members, right? And you can see I visited. You have, so what you can do is you can click on here and you can go down here and you can find the admin of these groups, right? So we can find who is the admin of these groups, and we can see that there is guys in there too. So obviously they are letting guys get in too, but there is a way that you can go in here and find out who is the, go into the members, I believe is where it is, the admins, and right there are the two admins, right? So I can go into the admins and say, hey, I see that you are in this group that has 17,000 members, and here you go. Now, that's Northern Kentucky. Then if you want to get into the higher end, so then you would do Mason, Mom. Let's see if that'll come up. Let me get rid of that palm. Come on. So Mason and Mainville, these are all high-end areas. This is all the high-end areas where you want to be at. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to find out who is the members of it, and go find out, all of that. And then right here are your admins. It tells me who my admins are. So this is one admin, and this is admin number 2. So this is how I can go find the admins of these groups to give away my free whatever you want to give them. Hopefully that answered your question. AJ, what's up, Jason? Hope you're doing great. I am doing great. Ramsey, I gave up thumbtacks about a year ago. Big ripoff. So true. You're right. Facebook ads suck. How about Nextdoor ads? Any value? I know some people that have had some good luck with Nextdoor, and I know people that it just sucks your money. It's one of those, it really depends on your area of where you are, is what it really depends on. I've been thinking the same thing about running Nextdoor ads. My competition is buying fake reviews, anything I can do to remove their fake reviews. Don't worry about it. I mean, when you're worried about other people's when you're worried about other people worrying about their reviews, Google will know that that's going on and will shut them down, is what will happen. And so it is what it is. And so, yes, but like I said, don't get caught up in that stuff. When you're worried about when you are paying attention to someone else's review, that you're seeing the reviews going up and they're fake, or if they're not, then that means you're not worrying about your own reviews, right? Worry about your own bobber. Don't be worrying about everybody else's bobber, because the only competition you have is you. The only thing you can do is how do I go from 50 reviews to 75 reviews in this quarter? How do I get 25 reviews? How do I get 5 reviews? How do I get to 100 reviews? How do I get there? Because when I'm worried about other people, I'm not making things like this card to get more reviews. I'm not making sure that my emails are the right emails with the right taglines going out to get the right reviews. I'm not making sure my text messages after the job is done, that I'm sending 3 text messages within 3 to 4 days to make sure that I'm getting that review. And so when you worry about other people, you don't focus on yourself and build better systems for yourself when you're worried about Johnny over here and he building that. Because when you build real reviews and you get those reviews, you're going to get more jobs in that area, because Google knows that you're working in that area because you're getting the reviews in that area. And so that is why it is important that we worry about yourself versus our competition. I don't worry about our competition, because what's the purpose of worrying about our competition? When we worry about our competition, we don't worry about our own business. We're not figuring out that, hey, I get these cards made, and guess what? Now I'm going to get more reviews, because if I take this card and I say, hey, Miss Jones, will you give me a review? Is there any reason why that you wouldn't give me a review? No, you did a great job. Awesome. Well, pull your phone out and let's get that review done now. right? So that way we can make it more easier and do this. Now, if you have employees, then we need to make sure that they are trained on how to get more reviews. Maybe you offer them something to get more reviews. We don't really want to offer the customer much because then that can be considered buying reviews, and Google doesn't like that. That goes against Google's thing also. But here's the thing. Google knows that you're buying reviews. Google knows that you're doing that stuff. And Google will catch you, and Google will penalize you. So that's why it is best not to do black hat stuff. Is it best to leave your address off Google Business now as a service provider, or better to use your office address? In my opinion, if you can get away with your office address, it is better to leave it on there because it will show up as a pin versus nothing. Now, it can get you banned if you're not careful. So that's where I will say, if you have it on there already, I would just leave it on there. If it's something that you taking it off, I'd be careful putting it back on. I know I just talked to somebody this week that they put it back on and he didn't get suspended. So, you're kind of taking you're kind of tippy-toeing through the ice of what could get you in trouble or not. Jason, do you think this year will bring in our industrial the low economy and recent tariffs? It's one of the things that a lot of people get into, and there's nothing that you can do for that, right? Things are going to go up. Sure they are. Things might come back down. Sure they might. But that's not something that we can control. And when we worry about stuff that we can't control, then all we're doing is we're putting negative thoughts in our head, and we will tell ourselves that, well, we didn't do good this year because of this. We can't control that. You get one time out of 4 years to control that, and that's called November when you go vote, right? That's the only time that you can control any of that stuff at the end of the day. You cannot control what goes on up at higher than you. Right? You can only control, you are your only success in that. Even when bad times happen, did you know that's when most millionaires start coming out and start making their millions, is when bad times happen? It's not always when good times are going. So even with this, we are a service business. One of the things I've seen this year is, and especially where I live, there's not a lot of houses for sale even now. Now, you get into Florida, there's a whole bunch of damaged houses. But around here, there's not a lot of houses for sale. And the loans are a little bit harder to get. And so I see people staying at their houses and taking care of their houses because they're not leaving anyway. So that's kind of where I've seen it at, where I personally think it is. Is advertising on X worth it? I would say, you could do like the Dennis Yu, the $1 a day, and see what you get out of it. But I don't see a lot of people on X making. I can't say, hey, this business here has made $100,000 on X. I've never heard anybody make any money off of X on the pressure washing or Christmas light side. My personal opinion. Now, I don't know how many people have bought on it, but that is one that I don't know. It sure would suck to do a $5,000 mailing and get like 3 calls. That would be a fear. And that is a fear, right? And is it the right offer? Is it the wrong offer? Is it the right, do you have the right number on it? There's a lot of things that can go right. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. If it's raining, if it goes out on Wednesday instead of going out on Friday or getting there Monday, there's things that can happen that you can do that. And yes, I know what feels like to send out $10,000 worth of mailers and only get about 3 or 4 customers. It sucks, I tell you, because I've done it. Now, what I did wrong is I only did it once. If you want to do mailers, you need to send them out 3 to 4 times every 4 weeks to that same area. Whatever that area is, you hit them 4 times, 3 to 4 times every month, between 4 to 6 weeks, every month. You keep hitting that people. Then you can see what the ROI is on those mailers. So that's where I would be at. One of the questions up here, and I'll hit on this one because this is a really good question. I think Jamie put it out there. Um, let's see, was it Jamie? Yeah, Jamie put it out there. How do I get more commercial jobs? Well, there's about 3 ways that you can get commercial jobs. 4 ways. Number 1 is go flip rocks. Go knock on doors and start finding people and start talking to people. Go to those places and start saying, hey, I see your building is dirty and we can clean it. Who is in charge of that? Can I send them a quote? Right? That's what it is. You know, so that's number 1. Number 2 is calling these businesses. So that's what Daniel does. Daniel sits there and he will call 25 businesses in a day of whatever business. So one day it might be churches. The next day it might be funeral homes. The next day it might be something. So he will find one thing and call 15 to 25 people. So that's number 2 way to get commercial work. Number 3 way is to do cold email. If you can find people's cold email, it's another great way that you can do it. Number 4, and these are the last 2 that I like probably the best. Number 4 is networking. Go to the networking groups. Go to them the networking of apartment association. Go do their golf stuff. Go network with people that have the positions that you need to be in those names. Networking is definitely something that works very, very well. And then the 3rd way, or the 5th way, whatever, I don't know which way, but the last way is networking online, LinkedIn, right? Go to LinkedIn, start following people, start messaging people, start commenting on their stuff, and using LinkedIn to grow your business is the other way to get commercial work. And yes, I do love commercial work, and I think, yes, commercial work is probably one of the best things that you can do for that. What is a good amount of money per day on Google Ads? Well, it depends. You know, I've spent up as much as $200 to $250 a day on Christmas lights during November. For pressure washing, I was at about $150 to $200 a day. Now, that was me trying to keep 4 trucks running. So it's going to depend on who you are. I would say if I was going to do Google Ads, I would probably least look to spend $1,000 to $1,500 per month is probably where I would try to be at least that. So I know that's a lot, but that's kind of where I would be at for my Google Ads. You know, if you're spending $1,000, I know that's a lot, but that's where I would be at for Google Ads. My goal would be if I spend $1,000, if I can make $8,000 to $10,000 back off of it, then it was well worth it. Even if I can make $5,000 back off of that if I had to put $1,000 and I came out $5,000 and came out ahead $4,000 more, I mean, I'm calling that, it ain't a great success, but I'm getting their reviews, I'm getting their referrals, I'm building those, I'm doing the 5 rounds. I'm going to the neighbors. I might be, if I'm not busy, I'm doing a 10 around. If I'm really not busy, I'm doing a neighbor around. And so that's another way that that's what I would probably be looking at. I prefer message blast to prior customer, average about 3 cents per text. I agree 100%. If you're not doing this, you should be doing this. Right now is a great time to text and say, hey, spring is on the corner, right? And you send out something. Make sure when you send this text, hopefully it's sunny outside, it's not rainy and crappy. Hopefully it's on a Friday or Monday, maybe a Wednesday. I know someone said that their best was on Wednesday. So that's where you kind of got to test to see when you send that text out, when is the best time to send that text out. Was solicited by a company that texted blast your ad in select areas residential. Sound like it might be good, but not sure how these will get cell numbers. Yeah, and the problem with that too is if they didn't agree to it, you can kind of get in trouble with that text messages now. Network with realtors, cleaning companies, property managers, etc. Right? property managers, CEOs. There's a lot of things that you can network with. Yard sign question. I'm out of town every Friday and Saturday, and I'm planning on putting yard signs out on Thursday night. Do you think this will still work as necessary as Friday nights? Yes. The only reason why we put them out on Friday night versus any other night is if they're getting picked up. So if they're getting picked up by the city, usually they're going to get picked up Monday through Friday, right? Because that's when they're going to be out picking up signs. Usually the city people don't work on Saturday and Sunday, so that's why it will work. Now, so that will depend on if they're picking up your signs or not. If they're not picking up your signs, you can put them up anytime at that point. But if they're picking up your signs, that's why we do that for them. Mainly concerned about the city picking up. Yeah, that's exactly right. Electrify your signs with those Trump signs. Put some of the, have you seen the ones where they put the mouse traps on the back? So when they go to pull them out, they get their fingers caught. But yes, for sure, that's what I would be looking at and doing. Let's see, what other questions did I have over here? I had some about, so one of the questions that I want to harp on quite a bit is following up. I talked to a couple people this week, and one guy's like, yeah, I follow up like 4 times over the year. I'm like, 4 times over the year? You've done lost it. Did you know if you're not following up within 10 times of like 2 weeks, you're probably not going to get the job? Because we know on average it takes about 11 follow-ups for someone to say yes. Why does it take 11 follow-ups for someone to say yes? Because we know that most people are a type S personality through the DISC program. And a type S personality means that they won't answer the question right away. They won't say yes or no right away. And so they have to sit on it and think about it and dwell on it and talk to their partner. And this is why we have to go and follow up 10 times over 2 to 3 weeks, right? And so how do we follow up? Well, we want to follow up with texts, we're going to follow up with emails, and we're going to follow up with phone calls, right? We're going to keep calling them to make sure. We want a yes or a no, right? We want a hard yes or no. And so that's why you want to make sure that we follow up. Because following up, as my friend Ray used to say, if you're not following up, you're going to fold up. And I agree 100% on that. It is so important to make sure that you are following up every which way that you can do it at the end of the day. Anything that you can do, you need to do it. And so what's something else that we can do to get more business? Are you asking for referrals, right? Yes, we're asking for reviews, but are you asking for referrals? Because, if you're not asking that person, do you have one person that that needs this? Then you're probably not going to get it. So that's why you want to make sure that we're asking for referrals. Best way to wash wood fences? Depends. There's 2 ways you can do it. I used to mainly use my house wash mix and do them that way. Yes, it sucks, but that's one way. I know Rick, a couple other people use green ox is the other way to wash them. So either which way you can get it done. Charge a lot. That's the better question. How much do you charge to do fences? Because when you do a fence, you will think it will take 2 hours, and it ended up taking you 6 hours, and you're full of mud because you sprayed it and you got it all up on your face. One thing I think is a great tip to you guys, I use magnetic take card holders on vehicles and signs. People walking by will grab one. Could use a QR code as well. Card holders are cool. One thing I always like to do is magnets, so they put it on the refrigerator. I know that a lot of times they don't always put it in the refrigerator, but you'd be surprised how many people put it on the refrigerator or put it out in the garage somewhere where they got it to magnets, so that way they can go find that stuff. So that's another great way of getting more leads. Because at the end of the day, guys, leads are the most important thing. If you're not getting leads, you're not going to close jobs. And if you're not closing jobs, it means you probably ain't making money. So it's important that you make sure that you get that done. It's my mom's. Well, yeah, you're probably not going to get a lot out of that one. Um, you might get you a homemade pie or something. But yeah, so I mean, I always downstream bleach and then do it that way. You'll have to use a little bit of high pressure. You don't want to use too high pressure. I would use like a white tip. Stay off the wood about 6 to 8 inches, so that way you're not. Otherwise, you're going to start furring that wood if you get too close. So that's some things that you got to think about. There is a couple other chemicals that you can use. Still, I don't know what they are, but there is some couple other chemicals that you can use for it. But that's how you clean it. So I do have an in-person training coming up. If you want to learn how to do pressure washing and do it in person, you can go check out kpwtrain.com or christmaslights.io/IPT. The pressure washing one, you will get hands-on. We will do a real house. It's a Friday, Saturday class. It is one that you will learn a lot. Obviously, Saturday is the marketing and the sales side of things. That's where you will probably learn the most of this. And then for Christmas lights, we are going to do permanent lights. So that will be on Sunday, but on Saturday, you'll get Saturday, Sunday. If you want to do all 3 days, you can do all 3 days. But I do have one coming up. I actually got two, one in March and one in April. They will both be in Cincinnati. They're actually in northern Kentucky, but they're right next door to the Cincinnati airport. So if you got to fly in, you don't even have to rent a car. You can just Uber there. And then if you need a ride from the airport or from the hotel, we can probably make that happen for you. But it's really close here, so it's definitely something that you may want to think about learning how to go more and get better. I planned on downstreaming SH, but that just wasn't sure. Yep, that's exactly what I would do. Because if you go stronger than that on wood, that bleach will fur that wood really fast. So that's how that works. But other than that, I hope you all. I don't have anything else. Again, we are building a rig. We got to get up early and go freeze outside tomorrow. It's supposed to be cold. It's snowing out right now. Rick come down from New York, and we're building his rig. And so it'll be exciting to see those videos. If you want to see those videos, you can go check them out on my YouTube channel. And I go like them, subscribe to it, go leave comments on me. I appreciate it. It's another way that you can help me is to leave comments and that kind of stuff. So if I've helped you out, it's one way you can help me out, and I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys learned something. We're getting close to the season. A lot of people may not know what the season is for pressure washing, but we're getting really close to it. I always tell people when people start mowing grass, your phone will start getting busy. So that's the time that we need to make sure that the yard signs are going out. And so the phones are starting to ring for people, but we're still not quite there yet. The grass is pretty much dead. I did see some grass shooting up, which is a good sign that it's starting to come. And so that's when the grass. So I will say it'll probably be another couple weeks before the season is really going up to full speed. So that is definitely something that you will need to do. If you don't know how the season goes, usually you will have a really good season in the end of March, April, and May. Those are really good seasons. And then June, it's going to start slowing down a little bit. July and August, if you haven't done your due diligence in getting a lot of commercial work and trying to book it for there, you are going to be doing very little to nothing. And then once you get through August and then you get into September, it might come back. The last 2 years, it hasn't came back too much. So September and then October is Christmas lights. That's the way I look at it. Or gutter cleaning if you're doing gutter cleaning. So that is how the season goes for the pressure washing. For the Christmas lights, it is, July, we start trying to get ours. We start now, honestly. If you're doing Christmas lights, you need to start now. You need to start working on your Google My Business. You need to be working on your website. You need to be working on all of that stuff to make sure that it's going good. And then work on getting commercial now. Make sure that you're trying to get that. And then if it's your first year, you're probably not going to do a whole lot till November. You're going to see a lot of people start talking about booking jobs and all of this in October, and you're going to be like, I must suck. You don't suck. They got a customer base and you don't. And that's the difference. And so you will start getting leads in November, and that's when you can start growing your Christmas light business. Quick question: what is the dilution of SH during the downstream injector? So a downstream injector can do about 10 to 1. You can do the superset suckers, and they'll do a little bit more than that, but you can get about a 10 to 1. So if you're at a 12.5, you'll get about a 1.25 mixture is what it's going to be at. So that's about a general rule where you're at. My phone is ringing a bit, which is good. Grow, grass, grow, right? For sure. Put some Miracle Grow in that snow out there, huh? But other than that, I appreciate you all coming on here and watching me and yap a little bit, and hopefully you learn something and take it. And the biggest thing is take action, right? No matter what you do, take action in it. If you want to grow your business, you're going to have to take action. You're going to have to do hard things. You got to do scary things. You got to do things that you may not like doing. You might have to answer your phone, right? Some people don't like answering their phone. But if you want to grow your business to be success, you have to do those things. And so with that, hope you all have a great evening, and I'm going to jump off here, and we'll see you all later.